Hello folks, back on YouTube. Been quite a while since I was last on here, but anyway, I'm back and I'm going to carry on doing what I did before. So let's have a look and see what it is I'm tackling first. See you in a bit. Right folks, so what am I doing? Right. Although I haven't been on YouTube, I have still been watching all my favourite guys on YouTube who do all the model railway stuff, and recently decided to get some of my stuff back out and just work on one model at a time. Unlike when I had my modelling room, I used to try to be working about 6 models at a time. So my first project, I've redesigned what my layout's going to be when I get to that. And on my layout I need 2 bridges. One's got to be 24 inches long, one's got to be 27 inches long. This is going to be the 24 inch model. So I've used Hornby's R657 Girder Bridge. That sounds like a right rivet counter there, but never mind. So in the 657 Girder Bridge, you'll all recognise these. It's the green truss bridges, and these horrible things which are the piers that are meant to sit on it. These won't be getting used because they're crap, so they'll be getting thrown away. I have quite a few of them. So during my collection time, I've amassed quite a few of these bridges and decided that right, if I need a bridge that's 24 inches long, then I might as well use these things because they're there basically. So what you're looking at here is 670 millimeters worth of bridge, or in old English, what's that, 30 mil, it's about 2 foot 1.5, 2 foot 1.25. It covers the gap that I need. So we've got the basic basis, so each one of these here, wait, I don't know where my finger is, that's one panel, that's one panel, that's one panel. So as you may or may not know, these things are designed to either be a single track that's 2 pieces in length, or a double track 1 piece in length. So what I've done is I've glued them all together side by side all the way along to form a double track, because that's obviously what I want. So I've done that. I've cut off, you can't see now, but down here there's some lugs for these. Oh, come out. These things would sit on and then you twist it and they basically sit like that. Well, I don't want them, as I said, crap. So I've cut the lugs off because they're going to get in my way. Once you've got the side by side pieces done, what we've had to do then is glue the sections together, and this is where we found the problem. When you come to glue these sections together, I know they're meant to sit on piers, blah 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 blah, it's not what I want. When you come to glue these together, I don't know whether you'll see, I'll try and lift the camera there if I can. This here is a seam. And the problem you've got is that when you put this together, they don't, wait till I get in the right perspective. They don't sit like that, they sit like that. So when you glue them together and you clamp them, you've got it like that. The problem you've got then is that what happens is you get a bow in each section. The whole bridge goes out from end to end, and that's because those edges are not flat. So the only thing I could do, because I was doing this late, well, tea time was yesterday before I was going out with the wife, I quickly ripped up a few of the bits of cardboard off the girder boxes and stuck them into the seam in an effort to stop that, sorry, not to stop that, in an effort to keep that like that, so that in effect it becomes straight. Now as it's laid on my bench right now, I'm sure you can see that, watch. There's still a kink at this end. I did weight these down last night. But my plan is this. These things here that run across from side to side, when you look at the bridge side on, kind of look okay to me. They look like they're meant to be sort of some kind of a girder. Now I've just ordered an awful lot of the plastic stuff, and what I'm planning on is down the sides of these I'm going to add a little bit more plastic on to make them thicker. But the other reason for doing that is that on here where two sections meet there isn't one of those, and the gap from there to there is almost the same as there to there, so you're not really going to notice it. But what I'm thinking is if I can get this to maybe 2 mil or something like that, or possibly 3, I've got some square section coming, and I'm thinking that I'm just glue that straight across there. A, it'll hide the joint, B, it'll strengthen the connection, and C, if I build these up to the same dimensions as this, then all along the bridge you'll see these little sections dotted along. The other reason for beefing them up, and I'm also going to be laying almost down the centre, maybe slightly off. I'm going to be building up the sections in between with, I don't know, maybe what, 5 to 10 mil pieces of card wide. The reason being for that is that I want to run I-beams through this. I want one on one side and one on the other. Now the idea is it's more plastic. If I build all the levels up, then it's gripping every part of the bridge when it's glued on. But then when I weigh it down, hopefully that'll finally settle it and it'll end up being straight. But it'll also look good from the point of view of looking at the bridge. It'll look like a proper bridge and it's got girdering, and I'll possibly, I don't know yet, possibly add something along the side. I don't know yet, I haven't decided that. But that's, if you've all seen the 657 bridges, there they are, that's the top. So as you can see, I've got a fair bit of work. These I think were originally meant to be ways to lock your track on or something, really don't know. And these are the tops of where those platforms would fasten on. So I've already decided I'm going to fill that entire run in, and the same on that side as well. It all needs to be filled in, because it looks stupid. On the sides I've got some mesh coming, so I can make these into some these things here on both sides into some kind of a gantry walkway type thing. Maybe put some handrails along it as well. Actually, from the point of view of being on the layout, it isn't going to have any central pillars, or I'm hoping not to have. If for any reason the bridge sags, then it will have to, but the idea is that on my layout is that there's tracks crisscrossing through this. You know, I've got them coming, I'll have a down line coming through here from the higher level, and I'll have one crossing straight through on a straight crossover that takes me around to some hidden storage tracks, and I've got another line coming from another area, swings through all this. So I think all in all there's about 4 lines are going to pass through this. So I want the width so that I have enough to cover all the tracks that are going to crisscross underneath it. Now if I've got to put a pillar in, I'll just have to fit it kinda, you know, between the tracks, but I won't be using those, as I've already said, because they're naff. I'll just make some out of card and go from there. So that's the basic, you know, the basis of the bridge. So I'll just take my clips off now, because they were all put on yesterday. So if it ain't drying out, it never will be. And if it isn't, I'll be blaming Humbrol for their plastic welding doing its job. So this is it. This is the part you'll all recognise, is this bit, the green bridge. So it's a cheap Hornby model. Doesn't look particularly clever. I've seen some of the new wooden trestles that are out there that, I'll be honest, look fantastic, but I'm not going to go out and buy a bridge when I already have a bridge. I don't see the point in that. Plus I'd rather make my own anyway. So that's what you've got. One section here, and this piece would normally sit here in the centre of that. So it's designed one goes over each one. But because I'm joining this all together, I've got this gap here, there. So I was thinking about putting a piece of it. I've got some beam coming to match this, to go across there to tie it in, and then maybe one across in the middle. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought I don't like it. And when I was messing about yesterday, I thought, well, I don't have to put that where Hornby suggests it goes. I can put it wherever I want. So it's in the middle. So there's part of it. There's the other part of it. So you get an idea where I'm going, and then this one here will sit over that section. So you can see now I've got three spans that have got a really reasonably good distance between them. Now, oh, paying attention. Nice. Now, get that out of the way. At this end, you've got that there, and then there isn't anything else. So I'm going to have at least one of these spare. So my thoughts are to cut this in half and lay it on the top and put another I-beam across the front and just have half of that on there to finish off. I could leave it looking like that, but I think it looks a little bit silly. It looks like a bloody carport. But what I am going to do with them extra bits of plastic that are going to go on the end here is I'm going to use some of my I-beam that's coming and create an I-beam going down, sorry, off this side, an I-beam going down to the ground with supports in it that shows that the bridge is being supported at an angle. Anyway, once I get all this together, because of the way that Hornby designed it, there'll be lots of things to fill in. And one of the other issues I have is that these are supposed to sit over that. I didn't particularly want them to sit over that. I wanted one of these to sit in the middle of each joint. The problem I have then is that this will start back here and I'll have that empty. So you could say, well, alright, run that down to there and then have this as your bridge. But the trouble is, I wanted these four sections on, and I put the four sections on, I'm hanging over at the other end. So anyway, as usual with me, everything is a work in progress. The other thing as well is obviously, I don't know if you can see, but we've kind of got tabs on these that are meant to lock into the sides of the bridge. So if I come back to this halfway, the tabs are useless because there's nothing to lock into, but that's not a big problem. Anyway, that's where I'm at with that for the minute. I did mention I needed two bridges. My other bridge is going to be hand built. Again, it's a two-lane bridge, or two-rail bridge I should say, and I'm actually going to model it on one that is on the line between Middlesbrough and Whitby, which, as you know, I live in Middlesbrough, but I had a run out to Russell a couple of weekends ago, took an awful lot of pictures of the bridge that I want to make, which is it's an area not far on after this actually, but it's not going to be like this. It's not a big high-sided bridge at all. But I'll chuck a couple of pictures on at the end and you can see what I'm looking at. But when I get this done, then I'll look to start manufacturing the other one completely from scratch. But this one is to basically use what I've got. Right folks, so this is where I've got to today. There's no point in showing you much at the minute because all I'm doing is just basically putting the bridge together how I want it. Up to this point it was a lot of me messing around, and I'm sure you don't want to sit and watch me messing about. So the basic structure is now there. These are the panels that I spoke to you about, where I'd cut them in half from one of those. So when all my plastruct stuff comes, I just need to put an I-beam across here to finish it off, and then likewise the same at that end. And then, as I mentioned earlier, what we'll do off the end of here is we'll have an angle piece coming down and a couple of tie-ins and other bits and pieces, just to show that the bridge, if you like, is mounted to the ground structure and not just sitting on some kind of pillars in mid-air. So once my stuff arrives during the course of the week, I'll put the camcorder on next weekend while I start dressing it up and, as you know, turn it into something that I want it to be and not what it looks like. I am going to start filling a lot of them stupid holes in the track bed whilst I'm waiting, but again, you don't want to be bored watching a bloke filling holes in plastic. It's not really exciting. But what you will find when I put a video on next week, when I start working on putting the beam across there and looking at what I'm doing with gaps like that and gaps like these here, is that I tend to change my mind an awful lot while I'm doing stuff. But anyway, there you are. It's my first foray back into getting back into modelling. So it's basically, as it stands right now, end to end 670mm across. So I'm pleased with it so far. It still looks like a Hornby bridge, but by the time I've finished, it won't do. It'll have that element of, but it's still a Hornby bridge. It'll just be different to everybody else's Hornby bridge in the way I've put it together. Anyway, enough for me prattling on. Catch you all in a while. Take care. Bye.